Good evening, everybody. Today we are having this discussion in a kind of, should I say, never before जो माहौल जिसको बोलते हैं, ऐसे एक माहौल है पूरा देश में। सिर्फ आज ही नहीं, कई दिनों से चल रहा है। आज उसका मान लीजिए कि जैसे क्लाइमेक्स जिसको बोलते हैं, वो क्लाइमेक्स आ गया क्योंकि
No, let me make a clarity here. There is no Lord Rama there in the temple. There is the king. There is no Lord Rama there in the temple. There is the king.
Sir, I am intrigued to ask you that you mentioned that souls are now, or you have sent around 300 souls back. Humans are going back to their sources. Does that in any way means that humans are becoming weaker by the day, and it will be much easier for these 7 or 8 kings to have more dominance, more control over the human?
Okay, let me put it this way. This will be very interesting to hear and very difficult to digest. But just listen. Now there are clearly two camps. The number one camp is God.
Humans are used to having pills.
Yeah. So number one camp is God. And number two camp is kings. Okay. Now, up till now, we only knew that there is only one king. Now it is revealed there are 8 kings recently. But let's assume that currently we are only talking about one king. Well, who is directly beneath this king? Beneath this king is Durga and Shiva, who is Mahadev. Both of them have switched camps. They have gone to God. And that has given a big jolt to the second camp. First camp is God, second camp is the kings. Durga and Shiva switching and going to God has given the second camp a big jolt. Not only Durga and Shiva has gone, now many gurus and ascended masters are also gone, like Mahavatar Babaji, like Sai Baba, and there are many others. Because I don't remember the names very fast, my memory is totally gone now. But this much I am just telling you. Now what happens when the top 2 in your camp is gone? It means you have to do something very fast. And Kal did not have the 8th king, or the lowest king did not have the capacity to deal with what has happened in these past 1 year. Actually in past, let's say 1 year. That's why now the topmost king decided he has to take it on his own hand. Now imagine every follower of Shiva worshipping Shiva. They are not actually worshipping Shiva. Now they are connecting with God. Everyone who is worshipping Durga or any aspect of Durga, like Kali is an aspect of Durga. Anyone worshipping Durga or the aspects of Durga is actually now worshipping God. God doesn't care about being worshipped, yet they will connect with God. Now, so many people within the religious domain are going into the camp of God automatically without them knowing anything. And there is something we call as God connection. We call it in short GC, or God connection. G for God, C for connection. Now we can know which human has GC and which human doesn't have GC. We can know that. Now these were all the things I used to teach people in my workshop, how to know all these things, how to talk with God, how to know whether you are really talking with God or with someone else. Now, of course, I do not carry out all these workshops. I have stopped them after August 2023. Now everything in the workshop I have delivered in the book. I have given all the material of the workshop in the book. I now facilitate that they can connect with God by giving them the mantra which God gave, and the book itself connects them with God. And there are cards in which God says, I will be in the card, and if you talk to the card, you will connect with me. Now, this is the work that I am doing in a very simple way. No one wants to believe. And you know what kind of people actually take the cards? All the children. The adults, their skepticism coming. Who is this person on this card to whom we have to talk? They say, we know who our God is. And they want to go back to their temple, to their puja room, to their holy places and talk there. Perfectly all right. I am not saying don't go. But understand clearly now there are two camps. And by default, Durga and Shiva will bring you to the camp of God. It's like ISKCON. ISKCON is following Krishna. Now, Krishna is now with God, which means everyone who is in Krishna's domain by default has come into the camp of God. So, because basically Vishnu has switched over to God. And Krishna is nothing but an avatar of Vishnu. So the other son, Brahma has switched over to God. So everything, there is a big shake-up that has happened within the hierarchy of the kings. And that happened within this last 1 month. And that's why suddenly the Ram temple has become very important. Kaaba will become very important. Vatican will become very important. All the places that the Jews worship, the synagogue, will become very important. The monasteries of the Buddhists will become very important. They will now have huge powers. And people will feel those powers. And those powers will actually draw them to those places. You know, when I started working with God, I was highly disappointed with God. Why? And I said, this cannot be God. Why did I feel that? Why did I say that? For one simple reason, that I found God was very simple, very ordinary, never used God's powers. And this was not okay with me. I said, all these who are on the other camp are using their powers. How come you are not using their powers? Are you telling me you do not have powers? Are you telling me they have greater powers than you? And he said, it is not about that. I will not use my power. And I said, but you will never be able to accomplish your job without using your power. Because I know what all those people are doing. Every move that God made was kind of destroyed by the king, by Shiva, by Durga, and by everyone down the line. And year after year, I went through huge frustrations. I went through huge irritations. I went through huge anger because I saw my work being demolished, destroyed. And I had to start again from scratch. And God said, it's okay. But it was not okay with me. And it took me over 5 years ultimately to realize that God doesn't work the way the king and the hierarchy of the king operates. What is it that the king operates on? The first thing king operates on is magnetism. Highly magnetic beings. They work on glamour. They work on strength. They work on power. They work on hypnotism. They work on trying to impress others. They exhibit their powers. They exhibit their abilities. They use magic. They use miracles. They use all kind of things to impress people. God was not using any one of them. And I said, you will never succeed. God would only smile. It is only in the last 2 years that finally I felt. 6 years I was highly frustrated. In the last 2 years, finally I felt now God has a chance. I was seeing a chess game being played out for 8 years, and I was seeing me and God losing day in, day out. So the point here is the Mandir, the Ram temple, will be a place of huge power, will be a place of huge attraction, will be a place of huge glamour, will be a place of hugely impressing people. But it will also be a place of purely domination, manipulation, control, and keep making the humans submissive to these forces. These are the 4 things that will play out through the temple. But the humans will love it.
And the God will sit idle, allowing everybody to whatever they feel like.
God doesn't sit idle. But God does not reveal God what is going to do. That much I can tell you.
Suddenly it will do something.
God always smiles. I am amazed the way God works. And I know God is not going to sit idle. But no one will come to know how God is going to work. No one. Like I did not believe the souls can go back home. We are talking about souls which is more than 10 billion, which are going back home. We're talking about a huge number, massive number, much, much more than the human population. And I didn't believe that they can go back such a big number, but I saw things happening. And that's why
the way you were narrating the whole thing, it sounds like you are describing a current political situation where a lot of the switching of camps take place, and one party becomes stronger by way of taking in people from other camps, and the other camp becomes weaker. It's like this. So it looks like for you, the whole game which is being played out, it's between God, kings, and others, their followers, and the same thing is happening there also.
Exactly. There is a proverb called as below, so above, or as above, so below, which means whatever is happening in the human domain is also happening above in so-called God's domain. They are no different from us. I have more respect for the humans than I have respect for these kings and anyone down in that hierarchy. And humans is a prized possessions. There are other species like Syrians, like Orions, like Pleiadians, and there are many other names like that who keep coming to this earth and they go away. They are also observing the humans very carefully, but neither the kings nor God is interested in those species. Those species are highly intellectually far advanced than the humans. But God is not interested in them, and the kings are not also interested in them. How come the humans are the only one that both are interested? Because humans have a portion that came from God, and humans have a portion that came from the kings. Both have their stake in us. God has already achieved what God wanted, which is His children are going back home. So God's work is done. The souls are going back home. But God said, since my work is done, I will give the humans some relief from their suffering and pain. Now, God is very clear. You have your storyline, which is already written, and I will not change your storyline. But within the storyline, whatever I can give, I will give you. And every person who came to God over a period of 1 month to 1 year have felt certain shifts coming into their life, which they said was so beautiful. It never happened before. This is the way God works, and yet you will not be able to tell others what happened. You cannot share. You cannot say, my business went up 20 times. You cannot say that I had a cancer and I had instant remission. You cannot say that I was not getting married and I got married. I was not getting a son and I got a son. I was not getting visa. No, these are not the way God works. Yet the way God works is very beautiful and very subtle.
If you look at all our epics and scriptures, all I say gods or great men, they were born, say for instance, even getting son, so he did some yajna and then all these four brothers came into being. And there are umpteen number of such examples in Mahabharata, Ramayana and elsewhere also. As you mentioned that God doesn't want things to happen this way, but there are instances in so-called, you call it scriptures, epics and scriptures which we have been following for so long.
Okay. You must understand one thing. Every epic, every scripture, every religion, every narrative, every story was created by the king. It was not created by God. And everything that was created by the king had only one purpose: deception. Deceiving the humans and engrossing them into some activity which will kind of engross them, which will hypnotize them, which will condition them, and from which they will never want to come out. Like no Hindu wants to go into another religion. No Muslim wants to go into another religion. Why? Why did they become their identity? The purpose, if the purpose is basically to go to heaven, find out in all the religions what is the best and the easiest way, and then go to heaven after your death. How come you got stuck into being a Muslim, into a Hindu, into a Christian? Because the purpose was not really to send you to heaven. The purpose was really to create an identity. And the identity was basically based on divide and rule. And this divide and rule has created tremendous amount of pain and suffering for all these years.
So, as you rightly mentioned, that I am not clear about it, but you must have some clarity about it, the way Shiva, Durga, they are going back to the God's camp. Just for better understanding, I am asking you, is it possible that going forward, even humans will also switch camp and move away from these kings and move towards the God?
I do not know how God is going to orchestrate God's game in the coming days or months. Not knowing that, right now I do not know exactly what is going to happen. But when humans will switch the camp, most of them, almost like 99% of them, will not even know that they have switched camps. They will be worshipping their deity, they will be worshipping their gods, they will be going to their temples, and yet they will not be able to be in the camp of the king. First thing, humans don't care about the camps. It is only because this conversation is happening, I am revealing you about the two camps. Humans don't care. Humans care only one thing. I have pain, give me relief. That's the only thing humans care for. And most humans, I'm assuming, I do not know, let's wait and see, will come to God.
Like you said, the followers of Shiva and Durga, they by default switch camps and move towards God. The followers
Exactly.
of such a large number of followers of Lord Rama may also,
But there
the
is no
day
Lord.
Rama switched and moved towards God.
No, let me make a clarity here. There is no Lord Rama there in the temple. There is the king, the topmost one. Even he is not there. Whatever they call as the Pran Pratishta is basically neither the Lord Rama has come nor the king has come. But there will be someone there. And that one will be keeping switching. They won't remain stationary. That's another matter. I'm not actually debunking people's faith. Okay? I know people will say I'm disturbing their faith. No, I'm not disturbing their faith. I'm giving you an information that comes from a place from where I operate. For me, these informations are just like the way you talk with another human and get information about them. I get informations like that. I have no interest to shake anyone's faith. I just am telling you that even within their faith, they will move towards God if what they are worshipping move towards God. But in the temple, there is no Lord Rama. That is why that temple is a very interesting place. There is no one there who will move towards God because no one has been kept stationary there. Had Lord Rama been there and Lord Rama moved towards God, every one of them would have moved towards the camp of the God. But there is no Lord Rama there.
That's really very, very interesting. Are you not afraid or scared at times that whatever you are saying actually is going completely against the whole universe and the beliefs of many? So, how do you get this courage from?
I don't have any courage. I am actually very scared. People think that I am a very brave person. I am not a very brave person. I am a very fearful person. But I made a commitment to God, that even if it means total destruction of this body mind, it's okay. But I don't have courage. I am not a brave person. I am not fearless.
That you only would like to stick to your commitment.
Exactly, only to my commitment. And my commitment is not blind. My commitment is not blind. I can see, I can know, I can perceive, I can cognize. So that's one advantage I have.
So you can see these things or cognize these things only at particular point of time, or you can see it through every time?
No, when I say I can see, I'm not saying I'm clairvoyant. It's not that I can see that there are 20 spirits in the room when I walk in. But I can cognize. That is how I come to know. Cognize just means I come to know. I close my eyes. I connect with what I want to connect. And then I get the information. And then I counter check to see whether the information I got was correct or not.
So what we get to see, be it at Ayodhya or maybe some other such sites, it's actually part of a larger game plan, or maybe between God and kings.
It is the part of a very large game plan. Some people assume that it is the game plan of a politician or party. No, that is very small. It's much, much bigger.
It's between God and the kings. Or maybe someday you realize there's some other forces in between us.
It is between God and the 8 kings.
So the 8 kings are together, or as you said that
currently they are
whoever is at the top is not liking the others.
Yes, the top one did not like the inefficiency of the bottom one. But currently they are all together.
There are signs of infightings.
There are signs of
infighting between 7 or 8 kings.
No, there is no infighting. They submit to the top one.
Acha. Who is atop the 7-1?
Yes.
Okay, I think thanks a ton for enlightening us on so many things. These are all like eye openers, and I'm sure that people would accept it the way you have spoken in the right spirit. It has to be accepted in the right spirit, and I'm sure if there is that supreme being, he would make sure that these go down well among the human beings and others. But thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for inviting
I'm sure
me.
we'll have many more opportunities to talk about many such things. Thank you so much.
Thank you.